Sure.
Hi class, this is my good friend Akram, and he is from the country of Lebanon. All right, and I'm just going to ask him some questions about Lebanon and what he wants you all to know about Lebanon, so you have a little bit more information about it, and so you can go home and know about Lebanon a little bit more. All right, so Akram, how long before coming to the United States? How long did you live in Lebanon, and what city were you from? Just kind of explain that.
Okay.
Please.
Well, I came here when I was 17, so I lived in Lebanon for 17 years. I lived in a place called Mount Lebanon, which is about 30 minutes away from Beirut, which is the capital.
Okay, awesome. And then in Lebanon, what are some big, it's a smaller country, but what are some geographical features or about Lebanon that make it a beautiful country? That type of thing?
Okay. First thing is that there's no deserts in Lebanon. The mountain is very close to the beach. You can go from swimming at the beach to skiing up in the mountains in less than 40 minutes. There's a lot of landscape for like planting plants, so Lebanon is pretty big on that. And the highest peak is about 8,000 meters above sea level, and that's the highest peak in Lebanon. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And just so they know, what is the history of Lebanon? The main points about Lebanon that have happened throughout time.
Okay. Well, Lebanon has been a big gate to the Middle East because it's open to the Mediterranean. So a lot of ships and goods go through Lebanon to go through to the Middle East, to other countries. So a lot of countries like that. So Lebanon has been invaded by a whole lot of countries. The Roman Empire was first, and then the Turkish Empire was second. A lot of other countries came to Lebanon trying to get this good geographical location so they can use it to trade with other countries, to Europe, Africa, and also the Middle East. So we have a lot of historical places in Lebanon. The Roman Empire left a lot of big structures that are still present until today. One of the biggest one is Baalbek, which is, if you Google it, it's one of the most known places in Lebanon. There's a lot of big castles that have been built over 1,000 years ago that are still there in Lebanon. So yeah, all those cultures that went through Lebanon definitely affect the country and also left their mark there.
Okay. And what is the relationship with, what's going on in Lebanon today? What's the relationship with Lebanon and its neighboring countries? Going from the history of it to now, present day. What's going on in Lebanon right now?
Okay, well, first, Lebanon is an Arab country, so we try to keep our Arab brotherhood. So we have kind of a good relationship with Syria, a good relationship with Palestine, a good relationship with Jordan. Sometimes we have some conflict with Syria, which is normal, just because of economics, or we don't want this good to get into Lebanon. We don't want that, or Syria doesn't want that good to go in there. And now, since what's happening in Syria, if class doesn't know about it, there's a big conflict between the government and people that want the government to basically step aside and have the people elect a new president. So Lebanon has been kind of like a place for Syrians that are being terrored by the government to go in and have a safe place to stay. So we have our borders open for them to come in and maybe get a place to stay. Now Lebanon is a very small country, so it cannot house all those people that are coming from Syria. But still, we're more than happy to help them for the best of our abilities. So that's with Syria. Palestine, we try our best to help them. We still have concentration camps in Lebanon that are for Palestinians. So, and also in Lebanon, we are still against giving Palestinians a Lebanese identity, because we want them to keep this Palestinian identity to themselves. So one day, if Palestine is there, they can go back to their country and stay there. And with the rest of the Arab community, we have a good relationship with all of them.
Okay. So that's kind of the neighboring countries, but the big one, because it's just north of this country, is Israel. And what is the relationship with Israel and Lebanon?
Well, it's pretty bad. Israel has been basically our only enemy. In the 1975, there was a civil war in Lebanon, and Israel took advantage of that to try to go in Lebanon and do the same thing they did in Palestine, to take over Lebanon and take all the resources and whatever in Lebanon. But they weren't able to do that just because with everything that was happening in Palestine and Lebanon on top of that, Israel didn't have enough power to do that. So they basically took a hold of half of Lebanon, and so they wanted just to keep half of Lebanon to themselves. But in 2000, because of basically Lebanese people wanted their country back, so they fought all the way until year 2000. That's when Israel went back to Palestine and stayed there. And now we still have the border, and the UN, United Nations, is there just to try to keep peace between both of us. But still, Israel every day, because they have more power and they have more weapons, they can do whatever they want, and basically Lebanese people can't, because we don't have anything to stop them, such as flying over Lebanon and taping or taking geographical images of Lebanon to see the mountains, all the details of Lebanon, and we cannot do anything about them. If a plane from our country goes there, they'll probably bomb it down and take it down immediately. But because Lebanon doesn't have the power, we can't really do anything. So in 2006, we had a big kind of war with Israel, just because one of our people tried to kidnap another person from there, just because the army killed their son. So they wanted to take revenge. So they kidnapped a person from Israel, and that's when Israel went crazy and they bombed half of Lebanon. I was there. I saw everything. It was crazy because, again, we don't have the power. All we have is machine guns, and they have all the planes and fighter jets and tanks and everything. So it was painful to see, but still Israel went back into Palestine after that because of all the world pressure.
And that was just 6 years ago, Klaus.
Yeah, that was 2006. Yeah, and that's it. That's the relationship with Israel.
Okay. All right. So, being here in the United States for a few years, what is this, 4 years now?
4 years.
4 years, okay. What is the biggest difference between Lebanon and the United States?
Well, the biggest difference is, I guess, the U.S. has the advantage in being organized more than Lebanon. Lebanon is a very old country, so a lot of the things that are there has been there for a long time, and people cannot really move them. So buildings, roads, infrastructure has been there for a long time, so it's really hard to remove them and put more advanced stuff in there. The other thing is, the thing that I don't like about the States, that I like about Lebanon, is the family relationship. We have a tighter bond with our family, more than it is here, so we don't have as much divorce. I can stay with my family until I'm 30. They don't care. They're fine. I'm always in contact with my sisters, family, cousins, everyone. That's how I feel. I feel it's a family is more important there than it is here.
Okay. And kind of the last question here, just to wrap it up. What is one thing about Lebanon that you want my students or all the classes to know, to take with them?
Mm-hmm.
They can go home and they can say, this is the biggest thing I learned about Lebanon today. What would that be?
Okay. Well, the one thing I want to tell the class first is that don't listen to what other people say. Make your own research. Make sure you know on your own what a person is or what the country is. If you had a chance in the future, make sure you travel. Traveling is very important. I experienced that. I came here, and this experience actually changed my life. So make sure you travel, go all over the world if you can. One thing that I want you to know about Lebanon, it's a very beautiful country. It's peaceful for the most part. They don't hate anybody else in the world. We like to live our lives. We like to have fun. But with whatever is happening around us, we are always affected by the things that are going around us, and people have this thought about like Lebanon being a bad country or not a very safe country, but it is
the neighboring countries.
Because of the neighboring countries, what's happening all over the Middle East. But no, it is a very small country, but it offers a lot. So.
Okay. Again, class, this is Akram. Akram, thanks a lot, buddy.
Thank
Love
you,
ya.
Joe.
And now you all know a little bit more about Lebanon.